From the magnificent public lands of the Grand Mesa, Uncompahgre, and Gunnison National Forest flow the headwaters of the North Fork of the Gunnison River. Moving from the mountains down into the North Fork Valley, it gives life to pristine riparian woodlands, ecologically important wildlife habitat, and thriving human communities.
People here have always been tied to the river and the natural environment. This region is the traditional, ancestral, and unceded homeland of the Ute peoples, who thrived off of what the valley's forests and streams provided for centuries before European settlers arrived. In more recent generations, water from the meandering North Fork River has made extensive farming and ranching possible.
Since the late 1800s, however, much of the valley's economy has revolved around extractive industry. Coal mining provided hundreds of high-paying jobs for people living in local communities. As a result, our economic well-being became closely tied to the boom and bust cycle of coal. In the past few years, as the mines have slowly closed, many of those high-paying jobs have disappeared. In response, our community has been redefining our relationship to the land and embracing local economies that rely on our public lands not for fossil fuels, but rather for what they can sustainably provide us. We are diversifying our economy with local businesses including organic agriculture, ranching, outdoor recreation, vineyards, tourism, renewable energy, and more.
My name is Jason Wrich. My family and I are the owners and operators of Wrich Ranches. We are a multi-faceted beef operation. I was born and raised in Hotchkiss, and I went away and did 4 years in the Marine Corps, moved back here and went to work in the coal mines. I worked in the coal mines for 15 years. And so what's really been exciting for us is how our grass-fed, grass-finished beef market is just really continuing to gain momentum as we tell our story of how we do things, the sustainable practices that we do, how we treat our animals. And what people have found is once you eat the meat that's raised locally and you taste the quality and you meet the people that are doing it, you don't want to do anything else. I care enough about everyone in this community that there is more out there than just coal mining in the North Fork Valley. You know, and when you spend time in the forest, riding, hiking, biking in the forest, and you see just how valuable that resource is, shouldn't everybody want to do something to protect it? It's one of those things where if you do nothing, you can't complain about the outcome. So if you want to make a change, you have to be the change that you want to see. What I see is you have to have a lot of environmentally conscious people, but you also have to have financial sustainability in everything that happens. How we can have other revenue streams, whether it's farm tours, agritourism, wedding venues, party venues, all of those things, to where the agriculture can be sustainable both environmentally and financially. You know, so much of what we do is based on snowmelt and snowpack, and all of that comes from our national parks and our Forest Service land and our Bureau of Land Management managed lands, public lands. So much of it is responsibility. It's my responsibility down valley, and it's their responsibility up valley to do what's best for everyone. And generally what's best for the soil is what's best for everyone.
Known as the farm-to-table capital of Colorado, the North Fork Valley has the highest concentration of organic farms in the state. Farming supports much of the local economy in combination with other business models, including agritourism and outdoor recreation.
I'm Cindie Sorenson, and I'm owner of Zen Zen Organics and Zen Zen Gardens. And I've been on the farm now for 16 years. It was not our intent to live in Paonia, but that's where we ended up. And it has been my sanctuary, Paonia, and this farm is my sanctuary. And I want people to come up and experience the beauty of the land and the vistas that are here in front of us. What I've noticed is there's people from all over the world that are coming to Paonia. Not only just the eastern slope, but every state. I've had almost every state represented up here on the farm. I want to talk a little bit about the history of our valley. It was coal mining based, and now we have this constant pressure for fracking for oil and gas. And it's constant. The pressure to frack our lands it's there over and over again every year, and we're fighting it and fighting it and fighting it.
Over the years, swaths of public and private land have been offered for oil and gas leasing, some of which our community has successfully deferred. With the 2020 passage of a Trump-era resource management plan, a great deal of the public land in the North Fork Valley's watershed is open for potential oil and gas development. This concerns many who live here and rely on clean water for crops and animal well-being, intact wildlands for outdoor recreation, and natural beauty for drawing in business.
If the fracking fluids get into our water, then we're no longer an organic valley. We are no longer the breadbasket for the state of Colorado. Water is everything. It's sacred. It allows all these green fields to be beautiful. If we don't have water, the fields turn brown. And so the land and the water are providing, keeping those two things clean provides the highest quality product that I can offer. And that's important to me.
The same river that nourishes our ranches and farms also supports a range of other businesses, many of which cater to bringing visitors out to experience the incredible natural beauty of the valley.
So my name's Daniel Roman. I'm the owner of Western Slope Stand-Up Paddle, and we're a river guiding service that opened up in 2017 here in Hotchkiss. We guide stand-up paddleboard, rafting, and kayak trips on 3 local rivers here in the North Fork Valley. So I first came to the North Fork Valley just because it's a great place to live, but I was able to start this business because there was an opportunity for it, which didn't really exist anywhere else in Colorado that I knew of. We had some amazing sections of river, totally pristine, and you couldn't buy a rafting trip in those places. You couldn't buy a stand-up paddleboard trip. So as a river guide, I saw an opportunity for myself to come in and open this business, and it's been great. For 5 years, it's been fantastic. So we have 3 rivers here. We have Anthracite Creek, we have the North Fork of the Gunnison, and the main fork of the Gunnison, which are all unique and all offer different opportunities for river tours. So Anthracite Creek is at the headwaters of the North Fork Valley, and it comes straight out of the West Elk Wilderness. So it is a just beautiful forest that we raft through up there, and not a lot of development. It feels wild. The water's clear, and it's just a blast. So that's a very unique river we have. We also have the North Fork of the Gunnison River, which flows through the heart of the North Fork Valley, and for me it's the best way to see the valley, because the valley is kind of defined by its water, right? The river's created it in the first place. All the farmers are using it. That's why we're able to farm here. And we see all that on our rafting trips. We're able to see elk, otter, beaver, eagles, all kinds of wildlife down there. We're able to help the community kind of transition. We used to have a lot of really good coal jobs here, and those are slowly going away as the mines close. And it's really important that we have industry or something move in to keep people employed. So the tourism industry didn't really exist here in a big way when we opened up. We had our wineries, we were off the beaten track, we're still off the beaten track, but we certainly have more of it now, and I've been able to kind of help get that moving, get the tourism industry going here in the North Fork Valley. Everything we do at Western Slope SUP revolves around public lands. All of our river trips are on public land, whether that's the Bureau of Land Management, managing the lands downstream, or the National Forests upstream. For us to succeed, those lands need to be managed with recreation and wildlife in mind. The reason we're able to take these trips is because people want to be in these places. They're beautiful.
In turn, tourists visiting businesses like Western Slope SUP or venues like Zen Zen Gardens support other local businesses while they eat, sleep, and recreate in the valley.
So I grew up in the Valley, and I moved away in 2008 after graduating high school, and then I returned in 2017. My parents still live here, so I was just back visiting them for like a layover and traveling, and then I just kind of realized what the Valley was becoming and fell in love and didn't want to leave. And I started my business, Blue Sky Baking Company, in 2018, the winter of 2018. I didn't know if it would take hold or if I would be able to make a living doing that here, just in such a small area, but the community has really supported me in amazing ways, and so I've been doing that ever since, and it's been really like flourishing. From being a kid, it was a busy, bustling place, really, and I think that the mining industry and that kind of thing just like contributed to that. It was a pretty full, small town feel, and then as time went on, by the time I graduated high school, the mines were closing, and it was really just kind of becoming more of a ghost town. A lot of people were moving away, and it was just less busy in town, and you could see things really like closing up. It was kind of a concerning time where I think people were worried about the local economy, and they didn't know, what was going to happen, and then the overall recession hit, and it was just a really interesting time to see, wonder what was going to happen. And then in returning about 10 years later, it's just got like a whole new feel to me. Just regenerative agriculture is really taking hold, and young people are moving here and appreciating the beauty of it all and wanting to protect it and take care of it. And tourism has really been booming, which is an interesting thing to see, and I'm very grateful for that. I see how that contributes to my success and all the people around me's success. It's bringing people in that are, here to spend their money and here to appreciate what we have going on and see what the Valley offers, so that's really great. I feel like we're in a true trickle-down system where everything that happens above us, or the headwaters of what feeds into everything that we grow and everything we use for recreation, what we drink, everything comes down to water, and so taking care of that is of the utmost importance.
Despite the wide array of business models and livelihoods found here in the Valley, there's a common thread: hope for the future.
I hope that it just continues to grow with small ventures of just down to earth, hopefully more young people just opening their own businesses and starting their own farms and just really taking care of the land and the place and trying to be good stewards of the Valley and support each other and have a nice local economy going where we don't have to rely on the outside industry.
Well, everybody wants the Valley to grow, right? That brings more jobs, it brings more opportunities for the people who grew up here to stay and work instead of have to leave and find other jobs later. Growth also brings change, and a lot of us are here for a reason because we like the way it is. So managing growth, I think, is our important task in the next decade and beyond. How do I envision it changing? I'd really like to see it stay the way it is, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
When you truly sit down to the root of it, it's all about your priorities. And if you open your mind and your heart to it, so oftentimes our priorities are the same. We want clean air, we want clean water, we want a beautiful place to live with beautiful views. We also want healthy food that's raised sustainably. And it's one of those things where you can actually do all of those and still make money doing it.
I want my children to have this land and be in this valley because it offers so much to so many people. If we can all work together to keep everything healthy and pristine, then people will come in, and my children will stay, and their children will stay, and that is what life is about.
As we reflect on how far we've come and point our eyes towards the future, it comes as no great surprise that there have been bumps in the road, and there will continue to be. But as we work together to re-envision our way of life and economy, we hope that the North Fork Valley can serve as an inspiration for communities like ours who are committed to moving away from reliance on extractive industry towards a future where the long-term well-being of our people and of our planet are aligned. This journey is not always easy, but it is worthwhile because by protecting our home, we are protecting our people. Visit westernslopeconservation.org to learn more and get involved in protecting the North Fork Valley.